Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Starting 11 here on the Let's Get Ready Network. I'm Adelia. That's my buddy Snark. And the Premier League is back. Finally. Feels like it would, but with all the soccer that there was this summer, it feels like it never went away. So,
Well, I know a certain team that felt like it could have had another week or two off. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Maybe not always also sure, but I heard them taking a lot of shit from people because it's easy to pile on. Chelsea, they weren't so bad. You know what I mean? They looked at times a lot worse over the last couple of years, but that's still not
They
saying much.
definitely did look better than I thought they might.
Yeah, it's just different, and well, we'll talk about that more when we get to the match.
Okay.
So, start off here. Going back all the way back to Friday, the very first match of the season. Oh boy, do we get a barn burner. Manchester United and basically the Dutch national team taking on Fulham. It took 87 minutes for
Yeah,
a
I think it
goal.
was the 87th minute. Yeah.
Yeah, United was the better team throughout the game, but Fulham is not a good club at all. Like that,
No.
it took that long should be something worrying for them. And it's that Joshua Xerxes in his debut for the club, getting the goal. Where did he come from? Feyenoord, I think, and stuff like that. So good for him, I guess. Congratulations. That's the first time I'll probably ever say that to him in his Premier League career. So United come out, get 3 points. They should have gotten it. Should have had it easier, to tell you the truth.
I mean, they should have, but it's United, so they made it difficult on themselves because that's what they do.
They can keep doing that. They can keep doing
They can
like
very
there's
much
a
keep doing that.
Eric Ten Hag gets a little pat on the back here. It's like, you're going to be our manager still. Good for you. I think Kieran McKenna staying at Ipswich Town is what sealed the deal with that. But yeah, he goes out and it's just the same stuff. This is the same
It's
United.
exactly the same.
Yeah, there's nothing.
This could have been any game United has played in the last 2 seasons, and I wouldn't have known any different.
Nope. This is who United are now, and I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. Yeah. Do they make top 10? We'll see. Okay, let's keep going on. Now we go to maybe what should be this year for sure the last opening day at Old Goodison Park.
I mean, we'll see. I just don't trust them in this.
Yeah, I feel like we say that every year. So, anyways, I don't think the host might want to forget that this one ever happened. They did start off the match well, but they give up a goal to Matoma. They give up a goal to Danny Welbeck. Scores again. Good for him. And then, in the second half, Ashley Young. Matoma gets a step on him. He's in alone. A little tug from Welbeck. Matoma hits the ground. It's what you're trained to do that these days or whatever. Just fall.
Yeah.
Gets the call. Red card for Ashley Young. He gets a little upset, but you can't argue too much about that red card. He took away, a glorious scoring chance, and that's what the red card's for. So they get another late goal. It's Simon Odingra scoring late again, another 87th minute, but it wasn't in doubt. Started off well for Everton. It looks like they get a penalty in the first 10 minutes. It's Calvert-Lewin getting taken down by Lewis Dunk, or so it appears. Lewis Dunk does go in at him. I don't know how much contact he makes with him, though.
Yeah.
Calvert-Lewin throws his legs up into the air like, he just got launched out of a cannon.
Yeah.
Gets the call on the field. I think was it Hooper that was on that game? I can't remember. And then VAR says, no. Look at this again. Come on. So there's one instance this week. A VAR doing its job. This is how.
Yeah, it was Simon Hooper.
Hooper. This is how it was supposed to work, guys. Does it work like this?
No.
The rest doesn't work like this the rest of the day. No. Let's get into that. Let's get into this a little bit. Newcastle, Southampton.
Oh boy.
Now that was just egregious. Okay, so we're talking about the 28th minute. Fabian Schär, Ben Brereton Diaz and Fabian Schär having a little tussle. Brereton Diaz pushes him from behind, pushes him, Schär gets up. They get in each other's face. Schär leans into him like this, trying to mug him a little bit.
Trying to intimidate him a little bit,
yeah. Brereton Diaz puts his head up quickly too, and then immediately falls to the ground, rolling. One problem, Adelia. Never touched him.
Okay.
Yeah, never touched him.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of problems with this whole situation.
There's a lot of problems with this situation. So he rolls on the ground. Referee walks over, looks at it for a little bit. It wasn't a red card right away, but eventually, for sure, that red card comes out. There isn't often that pundits in England will get together and unanimously condone something, but they are not happy with Brent Brereton Diaz right now.
No, they are not.
You don't do that to a fellow professional. That's all they kept saying. You do not do that. That's all he was trying to do, was getting kicked out of the game. Brent Brereton, this is your first match of the season. By the way, a match they lose. It was Craig. Sorry, it was Craig Pawson who was the referee, and Chris Cravenagh was in the booth. Joe Linton scores because Alex McCarthy, the goalkeeper, I don't know what he's thinking when he tries this side pass inside the box. Goes right to a Newcastle player who finds Joe Linton in front. Not even Joe Linton could miss from that. So Southampton had all the chances and stuff like that going into that. Joe Linton scores. They just couldn't finish. They couldn't finish. Couldn't finish their plate. They were hungry. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was nothing to them. Poor officiating. Craig Pawson. Do you think that's the only time I'll say that this year? I do not.
I do not think that at all.
I don't think so. Okay, let's move on. Quickly to Forest and Bournemouth. Chris Wood gets the opening goal for Forest. It was 23 minutes in. Semenyo gets one late to level it. So Bournemouth gets a point out of Forest. This is something, maybe Forest should have this one. You know what I mean?
It was a game.
You got to finish. Speaking of, we get the first game in Arne Slot's shift as skipper of the good ship Liverpool. Unsurprisingly, Liverpool has no problem with the Tractor Boys in their return to the Premier League. Diogo Jota, nice goal. I just wanted to mention Mo Salah gets the second goal. Had a couple of good chances other than that as well. Now it has 9 goals on opening day. This is a record, and they couldn't wait to tell you about it. But how he has 9 opening. Like, who cares? Like, I can tell you one thing: not one player has ever gotten to the big show and figured, you know what? One day I want to set the record for most goals on opening day. Not one kid's ever said that. But I did want to mention Mo Salah's new haircut.
Yeah, the haircut.
I liked it.
I like it too, but I was like, I turned this on. It was the early game on Saturday, so it's like 6:30 in the morning. I'm like, who is that?
Yeah, it was like I couldn't believe it at first too when I first saw him. It's like, that's Mo Salah. Like, ever since I've known him ever since he first came into the Premier League, so it's like, well, I like it. He looks like a grown up now. He looks like a grown up.
Early in the morning, very confused.
One other thing I wanted to mention. And I'm not proud of this at all, but I think that Liverpool kit is pretty sharp. Those white pinstripes with the white and yellow collars, I like that.
Oh yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, not the nicest kit I saw this weekend. We'll talk about that. Welcome to Kit Talk, by the way, on Starting 11. I'll talk about that later. Okay, here's an interesting match I watched. Brentford and Palace.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Brentford wins 2-1. Brian and Bumo, and a nice goal by Brian and Bumo too from in the box, just a powerful shot. This went against the run of play because Crystal Palace looked very good through most of, especially the first half. They get an equalizer back late. It's Daniel Munoz trying to headbutt the ball over to Odson Edouard, beneath Ethan Pinnock. Just kind of sticks his foot out for some reason, and it goes in. To be fair, if he doesn't, Edouard should have that. I will say would. I'll say should have that. He would have. I would imagine he would have had that. But Jon Wissa gets one back again. I think it's the 76th minute. Dean Henderson just playing around with the ball instead of just covering it. He should have had that. It wasn't even all that far from. I don't know why he didn't just wrap his head around it. But
yeah.
So that's not the story of the game. Okay, sure. Brentford get the points. Congratulations to them. No Ivan Toney with them. I think we've seen we'll see what happens in the last week and a half, but I would imagine we've probably seen the last of him in a Bees shirt. We'll talk about that a little more towards the end of the show. This one, again, could have been a lot different because before Mbumo scores, Abrecht Eze gets his second free kick of the day. The first one, good shot, finds space, but it's wide of the post. This one, he steps up, and it's one of the more lovely free kick goals you'll ever see.
Goal of the weekend.
Straight in, the pace on it. Everyone's, there's nothing anyone in the world could have done about that. It's a fantastic goal, except referee Samuel Barrett decides to blow his whistle on the line. There's a push now for some reason. The PGML is saying there's far too much holding on the set plays.
This is the Ben White rule. This is because of what Ben White did on corners last year.
Right. There's far too much holding. We got to nip this in the bud. So Barrett is only looking for this. He had warned them before and stuff like that. So he's only going to look for this. He has no idea that Eze is going to shoot. None. Yeah. He's only looking at the line. So this is Hughes. Yeah, Will Hughes is in it with Nathan Collins, the new Irish defensive back for Brentford. He gets the whistle blown on him before the ball goes in the net. So because the ball wasn't in the net yet, VAR can do nothing about this. It's out of their hands. The one problem with all of this was that Will Hughes didn't hold. He didn't hold him at all. In fact, it was the other way around. Nathan Collins had grabbed him from behind while he pretended to go down. So terrible.
Ferris says they're trying to stop us out here making rules to stop our dominance. I just think they don't want that to happen, and I think this rule would be like every other rule that happens with the PGMOL. This is the rule for the year, and it'll work for like 3 weeks, and then it'll just stop.
I was going to get to that point in a little bit too, actually. Yeah, all these rules, when we're seeing a lot more physicality, not just up and down the pitch, but in the box. Not everything is supposed to be blown. I get it. Something should be blown. We'll be talking about that in a few matches as well. But yeah, it's again going to be 3 weeks. You're right, and then it's going to slide back. Everybody is this is going to be this. It'll slide back into what everybody's used to. All right, it's it makes for good optics at the beginning of the season. That look what we're doing. So whatever, doesn't matter. I'm just going to say.
Fair says Benny Blanco getting persecuted. I don't think that's what's happening.
He'll be fine. He'll be okay.
He'll be fine.
You know what? He'll be all right. So one thing I wanted to say about Barrett was supposedly, and this is according to Ollie Glasner, he went up to Eze and admitted his mistake to him at the end of the match. So he's actually a man about it. He didn't hide
Credit to him
behind
for that.
yeah, he didn't hide behind his whistle or anything like that. He knew he
Yeah.
made a mistake, and he owned up to it. So, I won't tear him apart,
Yeah.
until
Does
next
cost
time he does
Palace
it.
a
But
draw though. That
yeah,
would have
it
been a draw.
cost him 3 points. It could
Yeah.
possibly, that if that goal goes in, it's a different game. Just because of
Yeah.
the way Palace was dominating before it. Anyways, speaking of dominating, we'll go on to the next match. One that you probably had an eye on, because Arsenal opened up their season against the woeful-looking Wolverhampton Wolves,
Yeah.
and no real surprises here.
Yeah. The game was a game. I don't really have too much to say about it. Arsenal looked pretty good. Wolves looked pretty bad, except for that one spell right before Saka's second goal, or Saka's goal, the second goal of the game, which just kind of calmed everything back down, and then the rest of the game happened. Like, I really don't have very much to say about this.
Yeah, it was a match that you guys were supposed to win comfortably and did. I was going to say, I was thinking of a player of the week. Maybe I'll start talking about players of the week, like who I thought performed best. And for me, the guy going in to the final couple days of the weekend was Saka. I thought he was terrific. That cross into Havertz for the header was from so far out to be pin perfect. Was great. And then his goal, just finding that, the fans gave him some space and stuff like that, but the window that he decided to shoot at, because he decides to go to the near post on Saw, and to put it where he did was that much power. No, I don't want. What am I supposed to? I don't like putting too much praise on an Arsenal guy, but
I know you don't. But Saka did look very good in this game. Other than that, it was nice for Havertz to get a goal in the first game of the season, considering the whole thing we went through last year with is he ever going to score? So that was nice. Clean sheet, always good, and 3 points to start the season. I'm happy. I don't really have much else to say about it.
No, there isn't too much to say. It was Wolves. It shouldn't be a huge test for you guys. So
no, it should not have been, and it wasn't. So
yeah. So we'll go to the game I kept my eye on. Chelsea opening the season. Okay, so Chelsea get to open the season. All right. First problem, they get Man City. So they get the champions again, all kinds of new players in the squad. It's been said, there's 44 players right now, and 8 keepers, and rumors that they're looking at another one. And the one that they do choose.
What are they doing? That's all I can say. What are they doing? I saw a tweet today that Todd Boehly has spent more as Chelsea owner than Everton have spent on players in their history.
Yeah.
That's just insane to me.
I like how Chelsea has spent the most money ever, and in 6th spot, it's Chelsea under Todd Boehly. So just to say how much money we spent, it's because we got it. We got it, and people want to come here. So there you go.
I mean,
all right, maybe not. Well, I would say maybe not right now, but we can't stop getting people in for some reason. I don't think as much, us signing players as just Boehly collecting players. For goodness sakes, we'll talk about some of the other things that's going on and stuff. But 8 goalkeepers, and they still choose Robert Sanchez. Will drive me.
Made me laugh when I realized Robert Sanchez was a goal.
Oh, but he's such a good distributor of the ball. What?
Is he?
He's terrible. We talked about it last year. Like when he comes in, it's like, oh, okay, this is what he's supposed to be good at, distributing the ball. No, he's not. No. He's not good. Petrovic seemed to be better at it, but they decided to go back to the Sanchez. Well, I think they're looking at offloading Petrovic now. It's all too bananas. We got the Swedish guy, Philip Jurgensen. We'll see how he does. If he gets to play, maybe I'll get to play this coming week. We'll see. This hasn't been good. So, okay. I said the first problem coming into this match was City. The second part, of course, Anthony Taylor. We get Anthony Taylor again. for a first match of the season. Again, the guy who hates Chelsea more than anybody in the world, more than Ferris. Anthony Taylor hates Chelsea more than Ferris does. Like, okay, all right. Yeah, he showed his colors a couple of times. A lot of people are gonna say, like, I'm just gonna go skipping around here because my brain is just, I get so angry. Kovacic, sorry, that's a handball. Like, you want to talk about
It's definitely a
proximity.
handball.
You want to talk about proximity? Fine. His hands are down to the side. Yep, that's not a handball. His hands are like this, and it hits his elbow or something like that for him. That's not a handball.
Like up here.
His hand was like this, and it comes down. And it comes down. This is the exact same thing from the FA Cup.
Look,
exact same.
I am not a Chelsea supporter. I could care less how Chelsea wins or loses or whatever. But that was a handball. I'm sorry.
Egregious. Yeah, he wouldn't call it VAR. Of course, wouldn't call it. Maybe he was having he was having probably a bad day out there. Whatever. That's goddamn excuse.
What's the VAR for this match?
Ugh, I don't know. Like people say there's 4 chances. Go
Michael
ahead.
Salisbury. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Oh, you know him to see him with the shitty haircut. So yeah. So that's one. They were saying 4. The first one on Enzo, where it kind of goes offish and somebody goes into him, stuff like that. I don't think that was a penalty. I think that was a correct call. But there's another case where Enzo is in the box, and Savio, he just gets rid of the ball, but Savio absolutely goes through him. He never goes for the ball, never tries to play anything. All he does is go through Enzo while Enzo's in the box.
Yeah.
That's a penalty. Like, if you do that anywhere else on the pitch and it's a yellow card, you know what I mean? You can't just run through someone from behind just as their ball's leaving their foot. It can't be done. It's a penalty. So that's 2 chances. I'm not saying like it probably wouldn't sway the match at all, but City weren't fantastic. People also talking about like, oh, look at the players that City didn't have.
Oh yeah, the NBC commentary team was actually at Stamford Bridge for that match. They were talking about how sharp City looked and how great City looked, and I was like,
gee
what were you watching?
Whatever. They had 2 good, like 2 times Chelsea breaks down defensively. Like poor, like very badly though.
Very badly, yeah.
Now I will say this: it was not a match that Colwell is going to write home about. It's not something that he'll put on his resume. He didn't look good there. The fact that when Holland scores, and it was what an awful play by Sanchez on that goal too. But when Colwell or when Holland scores, it's Cucurella on his hip while he watches him do it. After Cucurella sang that song about how Holland is afraid of him and stuff like that after they won the Euros. It was like, okay. I did like the Holland quote saying he's an odd guy. Like last year he's asking for my shirt, and this summer he's singing songs about me. So okay, whatever. I'll say Wesley Fofana looks like he's played 3 matches in the last 2 years.
He did look very rusty.
Yeah, he was a little rusty. Problem number 3, maybe not have Enzo as your captain going out on opening day.
That surprised the hell out of me when I realized Enzo was the captain.
Oh, yeah. I guess, you let bygones be bygones. You explain some things to the team and stuff like that. Sure. But do you just let him be the captain to lead your team out on opening day when you cause that much shit and all the French guys unfollow you on Twitter and all that stuff? You don't do that. You give it to somebody else for the day. If you want to give Enzo a couple of weeks or something like that, if Reece James isn't making it back in, yeah, you do that. But now you're expecting Enzo to captain not only this past week, but the next 2, because Reece James, of course, is still suspended. All right. Let's go on to what Raheem Sterling says as the match is going.
What Raheem Sterling said, or what his camp said?
What his camp? What his camp? You know what his camp is? Chelsea Football Club. That's his camp. He has this whole other team, though. When you're making $330,000 a week, I guess you can have your own separate camp. The things they know better. Here's one thing, Sterling. Play better. You have stunk for $330,000. You stink.
Yes. Yes.
Go to Italy. They love you there. Juvie wants you. Go. We don't. You know one thing that Chelsea doesn't miss? Wingers.
No, you don't.
You were talking about goalkeepers. Yeah, we got a bunch.
We have a lot of wingers.
We got a lot of wingers, and they keep bringing them in. The worst thing was the Jadon Sancho rumor. You hear that? Like, oh,
no.
Chelsea's interested in Jadon Sancho. It's like, are you out of your friggin' mind? See how I got myself?
I do.
What an adult I am. Yeah, no. They're already picking up a winger. Looks like today. It hasn't been confirmed yet. And I guess I should do this with a little grain of salt. Because supposedly this was a transfer that was confirmed. Was it last week? A week and a half ago? With Atletico? That we were supposed to get Omarodion or whatever his name is for Conor Gallagher in that switch. But looks like Gallagher is back in Madrid. And old friend Joao Felix is coming over.
He was not good when he was on loan at Chelsea.
I will say this.
When he was on loan at Barcelona. And now Chelsea's going to pay however much for him?
I think it's 43 million pounds. But like I said, like people have to understand when they're buying these guys for this money, they're buying them at amortized prices. So it's over the course of the year. So it's 7 years. They're spending $5 million on it. We're getting rid of Gallagher for 38 or something like that. That's pure profit. This is why Chelsea isn't in trouble for anything, because of these contracts that keep spreading out and stuff like that for years and years and years. So they're hoping the team gels and stuff like that by the time, 4 years comes around and they can't do goddamn anything. But anyways,
how does the team fit in the dressing room is what
they don't. They don't.
Yeah.
Like even last year, in the beginning of the year, they were changing on the floor and stuff like that. There's no room on the benches. So
ridiculous.
And you only have so many spots to loan out players, but looks like more people are getting. We'll talk about that in the transfer bit in a minute, with more players coming out and stuff like that. But I will say it was different. I'll say I really enjoyed watching Lavia play an entire match for Chelsea Football Club.
I forgot he was at Chelsea. He played so little last year.
Yeah, they got to do something about Enzo, who looked terrible in the midfield. Again, on that Kovacic goal, he was just a passenger.
They just stood around and just let Kovacic do what he wanted.
He had trouble getting going last year. He eventually got better. Maybe that's a thing for him. Who knows? Maybe they shouldn't have paid 103 million goddamn pounds for him. Maybe there's that too. But you have to have them. It's that crazy thing where you have to have these guys for some reason. Let's see. Caicedo was also just okay. But Lavia. And one thing I noticed, which was different from last year, they're trying the stretch passes now. Like Lavia, looks like his goal was to put the ball deep. We have guys that can run into it. Maybe that's how Felix does something. And he plays. Like, is Felix coming off? He has to come off the bench, right? He has to come off the bench. And why would you have Cole Palmer on the wing? Why would you have Cole Palmer on the wing, like on the touchline? First week. You're put in a bad spot. You're put in a bad spot by going against City, but going against Taylor. And it's fine. You flush this one down. You go on to the next match. It can't, there's parts of that match that I really liked what I saw. Like, to be honest, like we never maybe those penalties go in and stuff like that. It looks fine, but like offensively, of course, how could I forget my pal Nicholas Jackson?
Oh yeah,
stay on side.
Yeah.
God, like, how could you go offside on that shot by Palmer? You have one job. Stay on side. Just stay on side. Unbelievable. And then there was one, again, he's offside for this. He had another chance. He goes in alone, has to stops 3 times to try and take a shot, and then Weekly just puts it wide. Unbelievable. This guy is unbelievable. This is why we need number 9. I can't believe we keep getting wingers.
I said this to you in the Discord. Our Discord, you can join us in if you join us on Patreon, patreon.com/LGR_network. $1 a month gets you into the Discord. During the game, I said to you, Nicholas Jackson is someone that seems to me he would benefit from going out on loan. But you guys can't do that, can you? Because you have no one else.
Nobody else. Got nobody. And it keeps getting thinner. Like, looks like Broya is going to go to Ipswich Town. Ipswich Town is just collecting all these odds and ends, it seems, which is fine. And this time, at least, it's a loan with an option to buy. And like, if they stay up, that's the problem. The problem is, like, I think this is the same thing they have with the City as well for Phillips. So, anyways, if they stay up, it's 30 million for us, which is nice. Of course, last time he went out on loan, he barely got to play, scored 0 goals last year. He doesn't look the same as he did as a kid growing up before he got injured. He doesn't get it. Again, there's so many cases of this for Chelsea players throughout this league that are and now international in Italy and stuff like that. If you don't, they have such promise until they get injured and they just can't get back. Because the doctors here sucked. They sucked. So we'll see what the doctors do. Anyways, I went too long about a poor match from Chelsea. Well, congratulations to friggin' City. You know.
I mean, did they need congratulations?
How heroic of them.
My favorite joke going around on Sunday was that this was the game of 115 charges versus 115 players.
I like that one.
That was good. Whoever came up with that, because there were many people saying it. Whoever came up with that was good.
That's good. All right. Last match was at the back to the King Power Stadium. Now we get Steve Cooper's debut with the Foxes. Spurs coming in. Spurs should be heavily favored in this one. I just wanted to mention that Leicester has those new BC game shirt sponsors. It isn't even King Power sponsoring the shirts. They're just sponsoring the stadium now, I guess. So this BC game thing, I don't know what it is. It looks like those candy, maybe blue whales or something like that, but with Pac-Man in it. Pac-Man. I don't know. I just thought it was fun that Pac-Man's in there. So, Taylor really 2 halves here. Spurs absolutely dominates the first half. I think possession-wise, they dominate the whole game. They had 70% possession. So they dominate the first half, and they get a goal from Pedro Porro. James Maddison is making his return to Leicester. He was not received warmly.
No.
No, there was a little bit of applause for him. Mostly boos though, which I thought was kind of surprising for his first match back and stuff. But he is a Spur, so I get it. Now, second half, and I don't know what Steve Cooper said to these Leicester Foxes, because they come out. Yeah, they came out more focused. I was like the possession doesn't change much here, but the chances start to change because Leicester's being able to get the ball downfield quite quickly, and it pays off for them because Jamie Vardy finds a little pocket of space in front of goal. Cross comes in, a soft cross too, and he powers it in. 37 years old, captaining his team, back in the Premier League. He levels against Spurs, then gets another, like 12 minutes later, gets another great chance. But Vicario makes a good save on this, keeping his hand down and stuff like that. He looked good. Let's go on quick to the 90th minute when what was his name? Lucas Bergvall had to come in. Now, Lucas Bergvall had to come in because Rodrigo Bentancur on
that was the slightly scary moment,
on a corner kick for a Leicester corner, goes up, just clashes heads. I can't remember who he was with the Corvarit. I can't remember who it was. Anyways, he hits the ground like cold. Like, he didn't even look like he was protecting himself. He just hit the ground. He was out for, I think he was out for about 3 minutes. Then they finally got him up. It took him about 6-7 minutes to get off the pitch. He was carried off. He seems to be okay and stuff like that. I'm sure you won't see him next week. I'm sure you'll see him with a bottle of Tylenol and stuff like that and a cold compress on his head, maybe. So a scary scene there. But Bergvall has to come in, and he's on his side of half. For some reason, he's having trouble with the ball on the touchline. There's 2 Leicester guys pestering him. So instead of playing just the ball out and getting everybody reset, he loses the ball. They go in. Vicario has to make another save. And when Vicario gets up, he is furious.
He screamed at him.
Like jumping and the arms waving and being a very angry Italian boy. Yes. I thought it was shocking for the first match of the year. This match ends 2-2. 1-1. Now, I said I had Bukayo Saka as my player of the week until this match when I gave it to Jamie Vardy, not for the goal and the good chance at goal, but because when he's subbed off in the the 79th minute, he goes to troll the Tottenham fans by pointing at the Premier League crest on his shirt and going 1, then pointing at them and going 0. I love it. Any chance you can remind these guys they have never done anything ever. It's so great.
Definitely a good trolling moment from Jamie Vardy. Player of the week for me is still Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
I don't count the off the pitch stuff for the player of the week, but
it was on the pitch. To be fair, it was on.
He was outside of the lines. He was off the pitch. But no, that was definitely an excellent troll job by Jamie Vardy. Premier League winner Jamie Vardy. Something he definitely was letting them know.
Yeah. Do you remember the day they won that title? I sure do.
I do.
I sure do.
I was second that year. I remember that year well.
Yeah, I remember. Well, Tottenham should have won that year, but there was a team that decided not today, not ever, guys, not ever. What a game by Eden Hazard. Anyways, okay, so we did our predictions. We are now using something called Sleeper?
The Sleeper app.
Okay. So we did our predictions through Sleeper.
We tied on points.
Yeah, the 2 of us tied. We're also in with Ferris and our old pal Trevor. Ferris somehow in the lead with 8 points. Not totally
Ferris
thrilled about
everything right on Saturday.
Bananas. Do we want to go through who we're picking?
Before we go through that, did we skip West Ham Aston Villa, or am I just having a complete brain fog moment?
Oh, maybe we did. Maybe Rob was rushing to do some notes and completely forgot about that match. Oh, okay. Yeah, but we can talk about it because we could talk about, first of all, Villa wins. Good for them.
Onana scores in the 4th minute on debut for Villa.
I'm gonna say this about Amadou Onana. When he scores and he goes to like a big header to go in and stuff like that, when he scores and he goes to the corner to celebrate, he is so much bigger than everybody else on that team. I understand why they got him. He is a full head bigger than everybody on that team. Matty Cash. Matty Cash is in it with Thomas Tuchel, and Cash gets called for bringing down Tuchel in the box. Penalty awarded. And here's the deal: Tuchel sticks his leg out to put it in between Cash's feet. You see him look down, put his leg in between Cash's feet, and then throw himself to the ground.
Yeah.
The announcers themselves were just waiting for VAR to turn this over. It's like, no, this isn't going to stand. They said this is as clear cut a case for a call to get overturned as it is. What happened, Adelia?
They gave the penalty.
They upheld the penalty.
John Brooks was the VAR for this match.
A nightmare.
Awful, shocking,
yeah,
terrible. Every word you can think of for the situation, it was.
And then they give the ball to Lucas Paqueta, who shouldn't be playing.
Paqueta, who shouldn't be on the pitch. No. What has happened to this investigation into him and the betting stuff? Come on.
Maybe he was betting on City.
That City's charges and the Lucas Paqueta thing continuing on to this point after having been announced so far back is ridiculous. Yeah. Paqueta scores the penalty. It's 1-1. And then John Duran gets the winner for Villa. In the
John Duran, who was very close to not even being on the squad. It looked like he was going away to Italy. It looked like a lot of course, every rumor says Chelsea and stuff like that. Never came to anything. I just wanted to talk quick about Leon Bailey's chance to take the lead and stuff like that. Earlier than that, finds the ball, gets past the keeper who was around him. There's nobody there, and he puts it off the net or off the post.
Yeah.
Not a great showing from Leon Bailey there, who I like. I like Leon Bailey. He's a fine Jamaican lad. Destroyed Canada in one game, but what are you gonna do? That is something that again, it won't be on Leon Bailey's highlight reels. At least not in a good way. Okay, so that's it for the week. You want to go quick through who you're picking? Sure.
Okay. I had it up and then I just accidentally clicked out of it. I've got Man United over Brighton.
Yep, me too.
West Ham over Palace.
I went Palace at home.
See, I didn't because of something that I want to talk about when we discuss transfers briefly.
Sure.
Fulham over Leicester.
Okay, yeah, I went for a draw.
Okay, City over Ipswich.
I didn't. I'm just kidding. Of course I did.
I've got a draw between Southampton and Forest.
Okay, I went with Forest, who I didn't think was too terrible, just boring. I'm not sure about Southampton.
Tottenham over Everton.
Yep.
Arsenal over Villa.
Surprising, but I also did the same.
Newcastle over Bournemouth.
Yep.
Chelsea over Wolves.
Yep.
And Liverpool over Brentford.
Yeah, so we're pretty close here in our matches. I think we just have the one difference is that Fulham Leicester one where I have a draw. Chelsea owes Wolves a beating at home.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they can actually do. Hopefully they come together with something. Okay. Let's talk about some quick transfer news before we go, just because we're running down to the end of the clock here on that. Here's a couple that I just put for rumors. Still Ugarte going from PSG to Man U is still being talked about. Man United are going to have to offload a bunch of players for that to happen, but anybody they can get in that midfield they could use. News coming out over the last couple of days that Gundogan may want to leave Barca, and looks like he could be heading back to City.
City.
I don't know who City gets. I guess with the.
It's City. They don't have to get rid of anyone.
Doesn't seem that way. Something that affects you, Aaron Ramsdale. And now this isn't news that he's on the block, but I think news about who the latest suitor is.
Wolves was very interesting to me. They have Jose Sa.
And I said in our preview, I like Jose Sa. I think he's a good keeper.
Yeah.
There's nobody in front of him.
Their offer is an initial loan with an option to buy.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. But if Ramsdale does go, we're apparently looking at Joan Garcia from Espanyol to replace him. And
someone has to warm the
sure,
bench.
I guess.
Someone's got to warm the bench.
Yeah,
You know
we
what I mean?
we will need someone.
Yeah.
We will need someone
You
there.
got your guys. So yep, someone's got to
Yeah.
play in the, you know, the cup matches and stuff like that. So there you go. There's still chance, or a good chance that Lukaku ends up at Napoli. What they want to do is a $5 million loan fee and then pay $25 million as an obligation afterwards. Chelsea wants to hold on to these loan places because you only have so many. Because they have so many goddamn players.
Yes.
Whose fault is that? Chelsea. Anyways, you could have got rid of this guy. Whatever. And who knows about Osimhen? You know what I mean? Who knows about Osimhen?
Yeah. Nottingham Forest are in for Eddie Nketiah, who looks like he is leaving, but who knows where yet. And I still think Arsenal needs someone to score goals as a backup. So I don't know who would get there.
Yeah, you got to make some money off of some. You got to, strike with.
Yeah, we got to make some sales of someone. So if Nketiah and Ramsdale go, that's probably means we can afford to bring someone else in. That's a striker.
Right.
Still possibly Mikel Merino coming in from Real Sociedad. That seems to be
very
happening.
Big rumor right now. Yeah. That should be working out. I was here to say
Crystal Palace thing that I was talking about.
Interesting.
Is Joachim Anderson going to Fulham apparently?
Yeah.
And that Mark Gahey still apparently going to Newcastle. Who's going to be their center backs? So that's why I'm not picking Palace until this is settled.
I just can't see Gahey going, especially to Newcastle.
I can't see why they'd sell both of them.
Yeah. Maybe
Gahey, I could understand. Gahey had a pretty good Euros. Make some money off of him, sure. But why are you selling Joachim Anderson too? I don't get it.
I'm all for Mark Gahey getting sold by Palace.
Yeah.
Chelsea makes money if he gets sold to anybody. They still have the sell-off clause.
But still, I just don't understand what Palace is doing.
No idea.
They have to bring in a couple of center backs now.
Yeah, unless they're excited about people they have in their system coming up or something like that.
Chris Richards can play at center back. I don't know that he needs to be starting in the Premier League right now. And I don't know who else they have. So
yeah,
they're either going to have a really, really young, inexperienced defense made up of Chris Richards and one of their academy kids, or they're going to have to buy some center backs if these guys actually go.
Yeah, no idea what's going on with that. Strange. And they looked, they looked okay. They looked like, they just had a couple bad breaks and stuff like that. But, Brentford may not have Tony. And speaking of Tony, and this is where I thought you guys might be going with a striker for Arsenal. But the big thing now is Al Ali from the Saudi league or whatever, really circling him and stuff like that. But, that's a big conversation to have with your family.
Yeah, there are some rumors out there that Tony had a meeting with Mikel Arteta, and Arteta didn't like him at all. So that's why.
Yeah, and I think we talked about that before. He is not a personable man, supposedly.
Yeah.
Oh well, you can go to Saudis. They love gambling there. I think wasn't that Ferris's line from last week? It's so good. Also, Sander Berge. Going to Fulham now from Burnley, so he gets another crack at the Premier League, which is nice for him. And then, again, with Newcastle looking for players, Chelsea having too many wingers, it looks like they've offered £30 million for Noni Madueke.
Who I forgot was still on Chelsea.
He's a good player, but he can be incredibly selfish. So let's see. Maybe just needs maybe Eddie Howe can, straighten him out and stuff like that, and just say to him, Alexander Isak is our penalty taker. You will never take a penalty while he's on the pitch. That's all you have to say to him.
Yeah.
Just get the ground rules done. Anyways, speaking of done, that's it for week 1. Something that I thought would go half an hour. We never
go half an hour. Snark.
No, it could have been. It could have been a lot longer. It could have been a lot longer.
Could have been a lot longer. Yeah.
Yes. Oh well.
This is what happens with referee nonsense and VAR nonsense. That's most of what we talked about. I mean, you talked about Chelsea for a good minute, but
yeah. If they win, I won't talk as much about it. I'll just have the shirt on and the flags.
I highly doubt that. I just want you to know that.
Okay, very good. All right. Adelia, that's it for us. Where can people find you over on the Let's Get Ready Network?
You can find me on this channel doing reviews for In the Arena Serena Williams with Ferris. We should have another one of those coming out tonight or tomorrow. And then on the entertainment channel with me and Snark doing the Rewatchers Council, we will be live on Thursday talking about another episode of season 2 of Buffy. We're almost to the end of season 2. I haven't watched this episode yet, so I remember it. Fantastic. I remember this episode. So fantastic. And sometimes on Friday nights, me and Ferris on the open table, 8 p.m. Pacific. I think we're doing an episode this week. I'm not really sure.
Oh boy.
Snark, where can people find you?
Yes, that episode we're doing live Thursday on Rewatchers Council. Of course, go fish, go fish.
I love that. Okay.
Yes, it's not just your favorite game to play. I guess it's also a Buffy episode that happened in season 2.
It's an episode that exists.
Yes. So, yeah, we're back doing this. Well, I would say weekly, but as the Premier League goes, as Premier League weeks go, we'll be doing this. Playoff beers on the highlights channel here. Hockey season's coming sooner than you think, and so we're not going to be as not like this or whatever. We're going to be putting out episodes every week or so, but we'll get together. We'll talk about hockey every once in a blue moon, so that'll be fun to do as well. That's with my buddy Ryan Christensen. I guess our buddy. I guess I could say our buddy.
Our buddy. He's our buddy.
Fellow Canadian Ryan Christensen. Second in line to the Canadian crown, by the way. I'll let you know.
Okay.
It's a thing that exists. So, and then LGRN after Snark on the entertainment channel. Weekends this weekend, nothing. I'm not taking the weekend off. It's summer, but we'll be back the next week after that. We got to finish talking about like the Marvel stuff that happened at San Diego, or not San Diego Comic-Con, over at D23 2024. Just too many numbers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we have another week to think about other stuff to talk about. So there you go. That's it for us.
Yeah. If you're watching us on our Twitch channel currently and you're like, what's the entertainment channel? What's the highlights channel? You can find links to both of those YouTube channels at our website, letsgetreadynetwork.com. You can also get your LGR merch at letsgetreadynetworkshop.com. So check those out. Until next time, everyone, we will see you next week.